Hey guys, and welcome back to the Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door Let's Play commentary.
Commentary.
Yep.
Somehow, within the last 2.5 seconds, all the thousands of hands beneath her body just vanished. Well, that's a
Uh,
relief.
yeah.
Please save your applause.
Oh,
Guys, I
God!
need you. Please don't leave right
Mario
now.
is turning into Super Mario.
Wait, wait. Uh,
Those
oh
were
yeah,
the Chaos Emeralds, except they were star-shaped.
yeah. This is the only time they bring a real focus to the noose in Roqueport, when that is really the most iconic part of the city. So I think it's just supposed. It's probably symbolic of something, but I'm really not in the mood to try to think of what right now. So
It's where Sonic went to die.
uh, you could argue that once Sega started making games specifically for the GameCube, because SA1 and SA2 were the Dreamcast games to start, starting with Heroes was the inevitable downfall of that blue prick. So it could be the case. But anyway, we've got our traditional don't worry, Mario. The power of friendship and goodwill and positive energy is going to be able to save us.
And then the crystal stars rip each town out of the ground and turn them into pieces of a giant robot so that we can fight the evil space demon. And everyone dies. Where's your love and friendship now?
Well, you think that they would have probably died beforehand when like the entire planet got split apart at that point, but whatever.
You think, but it just didn't happen.
Yeah, so every town gets a scene where the crystal star goes to there, and all the NPCs you talk to send you their positive energy and all that.
Well, just shut up and give me your energy.
This is, I love this game, and the fact that this is Mario kind of dulls the blow for me, because it's a little bit more fitting in a game series like this. But the whole "we're gonna send you our energy" kind of thing has always never been a favorite plot point of mine, just in general.
It's been done to death.
It's the Kingdom Hearts' light moment.
It's not just that it's done to death. There are plenty of things that have been done to death. It's also hokey as fuck. is also the thing. And I mean, for a Mario RPG where you expect a certain amount of hokiness, like that's why I roll with it more here. But in other things, especially more serious things, it's always kind of like
it kind of steals the satisfaction of seeing the hero win by their own skill and initiative, which is kind of the reason that, like, say, some people were a bit not so happy with the ending to Harry Potter and the way Harry wound up defeating Voldemort in the end, where I suppose it's like years and years after the fact, so a spoiler here isn't going to kill anyone, but like Voldemort dies because, through a series of coincidences, the Elder Wand happened to have chosen Harry as its master. So it basically backfired on him.
Well, they do. You know what? They do foreshadow that as early as the first book, where they say that Harry chose a similar type of wand that Voldemort chose. So,
No, it was a completely different wand.
Yeah.
Well, it's still they have a similar whatever it is that wand pick.
What winds up happening is that throughout the entire series, the Elder Wand was in Dumbledore's possession. Then at the end of book 6, Snape killed Dumbledore and wound up being what Voldemort thought was the Elder Wand's master, which was why Voldemort killed Snape. But before that, Draco Malfoy disarmed Dumbledore, so he was actually the master. And then, without ever touching the Elder Wand, Malfoy got disarmed by Harry, so Harry was the master.
Man, that thing's really picky. Why can't it just, like, I don't know. It's a stick! It's a stick!
Well, that's what they do at the end of it. Harry just snaps it in half and throws it down.
No, that's only in the movie.
Oh.
He just reburies it with Dumbledore in the book.
Oh. So somebody can dig up his grave and take it from him.
Well,
I disarmed
the...
the...
Only if they happen to have disarmed Harry beforehand. So basically, it's such a convoluted mess of stuff people have no way of knowing that
or
nobody's ever
since
going to
Harry...
figure that shit out.
If Harry gave the the wand back to Dumbledore, do they just have to disarm Dumbledore in order to get the wand to be its master?
No.
Or they
no.
could just disarm Dumbledore by literally ripping the arm off of his skeleton.
No. Oh God.
We're the bomb, guys.
So,
Yeah.
would it be any less hokey if, say, the 7 crystal stars getting their power wasn't from the towns you visited, but rather from your companions?
Maybe a little bit, but they're also the one.
Because there are 7 companions.
Well, 6 if you don't have Miss Mouse. Because
Yeah, I
the
guess
first
good
time I
point.
beat the game, I didn't actually get Miss Mouse until after I beat the Shadow Queen. I think the thing is that both Mario and his companion need the energy because they're both fighting the Shadow Queen. Also, Lewis, if you look at all the different boxes are from different characters you meet throughout the games. So right here, like you go, bro, is Luigi, but you can see one from Pennington, which is go Luigi. Wait, I mean Mario? Question mark. So yeah, I like that even through very short dialogue, you can tell for some of these you can tell which one the character is supposed to be. Like Ahoy Admiral's probably Pop Hatch and things like that. So. And what really seals the deal is that Peach gives Mario her power, which allows us to beat her up. Okay.
Well, it wasn't much, but it just might do the trick.
Yeah,
Peach
so
was useful.
yes,
Sort of.
Peach was useful. So now we can actually fight the boss. So yeah, and I will say the final boss fight for the Thousand Year Door is a lot of fun. It is, I think, it's one of the best boss fights in the game, I will say. So, and very few final boss fights I find are some of the most fun to play. Like, they might be satisfying to beat, but actually getting through them is often really annoying. So I appreciate when the boss fight is very fun to play on top of that. Now, before we start, I'm going to let you guys in on a trick for this final boss. So you start off the fight with nobody in your audience because the Shadow Queen blew up, because the Shadow Queen ate everybody. Here's the thing. At the beginning of this boss fight, you will always start the fight with a Shine Sprite Bingo, which completely refills your star power, MP, and HP. So that means that you can abuse all of your incredibly inefficient attacks that do a lot of damage because they're going to just get refilled immediately anyway. And the only reason they have this bingo is so that you will get your audience back quickly. So yeah, there's your pro strats moment for the day. So I always use, I think, Earth Tremor and then Showstopper immediately after that. So yeah,
Might as well take advantage of the damage.
Yeah, because I think you get a new bingo reel every time you get an action command correct. And it's always random for the most part, but in this case, since this is one of the only times in the game where the bingo reels are scripted, you can take advantage of that to really to really like to deal some damage consequence free. So
It kind of reminds me of the end of Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core, except in this case the bingo reels are scripted in a very positive way, but at the end they sort of mindfuck you because basically what the bingo thing, the slot machine rather, in Crisis Core is explained as Zack's like memories and attachment to the people he knows, which is why as you progress through the game, different faces get unlocked and different extra effects. But as he's dying during the final battle with the horde of Shinra's soldiers, those faces start to disappear as the slot machine plays. And I think the last one to go is Eris. It's kind of a gut-wrenching thing.
Is Crisis Core the good Final Fantasy spin-off game or the bad one?
It's the best thing to come out of the compilation.
Yeah, it's a passably fun action RPG thing for the PSP. But,
okay. It's Dirge of Cerberus, which is the bad one, is it?
Dirge of
Dirge of Cerberus is the worst thing to come out of the
Dirge
compilation.
of Cerberus is, well, I'd say it's not unenjoyable, but it's very basic. Like, if you want a good RPG shooter hybrid, go to Mass Effect. If you want a game that shows you just how basic and flat such a combination can potentially be, you go to Dirge of Cerberus. But it has its moments, like the boss fight at the beginning of the game against the airship helicopter thing is pretty damn fun. And you can do some interesting things with the equipment system. But apart from that, there's not much of value there.
It's the game where you play as Vincent the whole time, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I was just.
It's their Shadow the Hedgehog.
Well, I wouldn't say it's that bad. Not nearly. It's just kind of bland overall, really, and the story doesn't add much of anything.
Well, that's why it's Shadow the Hedgehog. The story doesn't add anything, and you're playing as Edgy the Hedgie.
Vincent does kind of look like Shadow the Hedgehog, what with the red and the black motif going on, you know.
Yeah.
No, Shadow the Hedgehog looks like Vincent. Get that right.
It's just that the only worthwhile thing in Dirge of Cerberus is that it sort of added to the mythology by bringing Omega into things, but the actual villains that you're fighting against during the course of the story aren't worth a damn. They're basically Metal Gear references. Like, Azul the Cerulean is basically a neon-colored Vulcan Raven. And then...
Stupid as fuck names. I hate those names. Blue the blue. Red the red.
Pretty much. Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
Were there any other games, or was it just Advent Children, the movie?
There was a mobile phone game that involved the Turks.
Yeah, and that was apparently pretty okay, I've heard. Like, story-wise, at least. It fleshed out a lot of the stuff that... Basically, it explained the origins of Avalanche, and the original Avalanche was pretty damn ruthless.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, they were really big ego terrorists.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they weren't like comic relief people like Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse then.
No,
Okay.
it's like, from what I understand, Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse basically appropriated the name Avalanche and took over, and were quite a lot less reprehensible than the original Avalanche.
Okay. Well, anyway, we'll do a Final Fantasy VII commentary probably someday. Because
Yeah, let's get back to commentating over the final boss of Persona 4. I think this is the part where Yunorakami summons Izanagi no Okami and just screen nukes the boss, because that is a thing at the end of every Persona game since the third one, which means all two of them actually. I hope they don't do that in Persona 5 though.
Persona 5 comes out soon in Japan, is it? Yeah, it probably comes out pretty soon in Japan, if I had to guess.
Sometime this year.
Yeah. Why am I using Veil at this point? Keeping Vivian alive is very important for this boss fight, for the record, because the Shadow Queen can suck up HP, and no, not suck up HP. Well, she can do that, but she can also charge up power and hit you with an attack that does like 15 damage. So keeping Vivian alive for Veil is very, very important. So I don't know why I was doing it there, though. That was a little bit dumb of me, but whatever.
The paranoid?
I didn't really have any good options, I think, was the main thing, because I always like to get rid of the hands each turn using whatever screen nuke attack I have, because if you leave the hands alive, not only will they do like 5 or so damage each turn, but one of them will also suck HP, which heals the Shadow Queen. And you probably can super guard it, but the timing on guarding it is so weird that I've never been able to do it. So yeah, that's why I always try to get rid of the hands every single turn they appear, which does take a lot of FP, granted, but you guys have seen how much healing items I have in my inventory at this point, so that's really not the big issue.
Oh god, she does use 1,000 curses. Fuck.
Oh, thank you, Random Boo.
You're okay.
I love that. Yeah, I know that that was all of her buffs wearing off, but I find the animation for it very funny for
Like
whatever.
just jumping, you're giddy.
Gotta use that last whack-a-bump.
Yeah, I've been saving it for this area. I probably could have. I don't think I really end up even using most of my Jelly Ultras and all that, so I probably could just save all that for a later Pit of 100 Trials run. I know that we've looked at the comments and there was demand for that, but I think if we do that, I'm gonna wait a little while just to keep it fresh. Maybe I could live stream
We can make it a weekend thing.
a weekend thing, or we could live stream it or something, But I don't want to do it right after, because that would
Yeah, let's give ourselves a Paper Mario break.
Yeah. I mean, we gotta do Super Paper Mario next. Oh boy. Actually, we're probably gonna, if we're gonna do another RPG, it'll probably be either Super Mario RPG or something in the Mario and Luigi series next. If
I want to get started on the Mario and Luigi series.
Okay, well, you can record that because I have not beaten a single game in that franchise. So
On the other hand,
Missing out,
I do
man.
kind of feel like Super Paper Mario deserves more recognition than.
I like Super Paper Mario a lot. It has problems, but I think that what it gets right, it gets really, really right. Like, I think the story in Super Paper Mario is the best story a Mario game has ever had. It is surprisingly touching with all the different moments it has, and the gameplay can be fun too. It's just, it gets a little bit dull and repetitive, and it does not start off very strong at all. That's also part of the big thing, is that the first chapter's okay, the second chapter drags so much. But there are a lot of really cool sequences in Super Paper Mario, like the scene in Chapter 6 where you actually get to see one of the worlds get wiped out, and things like that. You know, like, those are some incredibly powerful moments. And, you know, I think that the game does get a little bit... Because, like, people act like it's just straight up a bad game. It's not a bad game. If you want a bad Paper Mario game, play Sticker Star. So since I veiled on the wrong turn, I actually got hit by the Shadow Queen super attack there. But since we're at the very end anyway, it doesn't really matter. So, yeah. But I think that this is one of the most fun boss fights.
Well, now just use Supernova. Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
That's a way to finish it off.
Yeah. Granted, you have to mash the A button really, really hard in order to get Supernova to fill, because basically you have a limited amount of time on each bar, and as you can sometimes see, like when I'm slowing down on my button presses, the bar goes down really, really quickly, so you cannot let up at all. So I hope you have either a turbo controller or really tough thumbs, is basically what I'm gonna say. So yeah,
it's always satisfying when you get to finish off the final boss with your best attack.
Yeah, and it's always really lame when you finish off the final boss with like the mage's physical attack. Oh,
I disagree. Cherry tapping is best way.
Okay, so okay, Lewis, you're laughing right now. The curse is doubling my star points after this fight. The boss only gives you 2 star points. It's a fixed star point. It's a fixed star point ratio. So yeah, fuck you too, curse. Fuck you too. Yeah, the Shadow Queen always gives you 2 star points no matter what you do. Bonetail always gives you just 1. So...
You don't need the star points at that point.
Yeah, but, like, come on. I'd rather...
You don't need it!
I'd rather they do what they did in the original Paper Mario and just have them not give you any. Don't tease me like that. But the funny thing is that you actually, if you had like 98 or 99 star points, you could level up after that fight. So, yeah, that would be anticlimactic. Peach is saved. We better go help her. Wait. I gotta choose. Heart points or flower points? Badge points. Definitely badge points.
What do you think, Vivian?
Let me go ask Peach. Hey, Peach!
Go. Yeah, so, yeah, those guys can just teleport. Dupless has to take the long way out. So, yeah. I believe the theme that's about to play right now is a remix of Peach's theme from the original Paper Mario. So, I find that very, very charming. Yeah, I mean, I guess they could have just played the Peach's Castle theme, but, you know, whatever. I think calling back to the previous game in this specific sub-franchise works a little bit better, so... Yeah.
Well.
Oh, yeah. So
at least we found the correct castle this time.
And now we have to walk all the way back out. Oh yeah, I should have mentioned this way back when, but the Professor Franklin we saw at the beginning of Chapter 8 was not actually the real Professor Franklin. It was Dupless in disguise. They kind of locked him up in a closet somewhere in the Palace of Shadow. So
how'd he get out? He has no arms.
Goombas have telekinesis. That's how they play baseball.
His heart.
Or he could have like jumped up and used his mouth to open up the doorknob. I don't know. Okay, so they actually did. There was actually a treasure beneath the 1,000-year door. You don't actually find out what it is unless if you play the game after, like you start up post game stuff. It's a dried shroom. But they're really excited about this because it means that people have been eating mushrooms for 1,000 years, which means it was a major archaeological discovery. I'm not
What's
joking.
in the box, man? What's in the box?
It's a mushroom, Ryan.